Don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. It really helps us keep bringing you more awesome movie recaps. In this video, we're covering the full Orphan story, Part 1 and Part 2. The story opens with Kate Coleman experiencing a vivid and terrifying nightmare. She is in a hospital, bleeding heavily as doctors rush her into surgery. She gives birth to a stillborn child, and the haunting image of her lifeless baby overwhelms her. Kate wakes up in terror, shaken by the trauma. This tragic loss defines much of her life, as she is a recovering alcoholic still fighting her inner demons. She and her husband John are trying to rebuild their marriage and family life while caring for their two children, Daniel, a boy who is rebellious, and Max, their little daughter who is deaf but incredibly sweet and expressive with her sign language. Although their family appears stable on the surface, the weight of grief and the cracks in their relationship are always present. Kate longs to fill the void left by her unborn child. Believing that adopting a child might help heal the family and bring joy back into their home, she convinces John to visit an orphanage. At the orphanage, while John chats with the staff, Kate wanders through and hears the sound of a piano. Following the music, she finds a young girl, 9 years old, painting in a room by herself.
My name is Esther.
She is polite, articulate, and highly intelligent for her age. She speaks with a strange European accent, dresses in old-fashioned clothes, and wears ribbons around her wrists and neck. She seems unusually mature and composed, not like the other children. Kate and John are immediately charmed. Esther presents herself as kind, talented, and almost angelic. The Colemans decide to adopt her, feeling certain she is meant to be part of their family. When Esther comes home, everyone tries to adjust. Max is delighted and bonds quickly with her new sister. Daniel, however, feels threatened and uneasy. He does not trust Esther and notices details that others ignore. Kate is initially hopeful, but as time goes on, she begins to see signs that something about Esther is very wrong. Esther's behavior is unusual. She insists on wearing makeup, dressing like she is from another era, and never takes off the ribbons tied tightly around her neck and wrists. When other children tease her for her appearance, Esther reacts with disturbing coldness. At school, when a classmate mocks her, she pushes the girl off a high slide, breaking her ankle. The school considers it an accident, but Kate knows it was intentional. At home, Esther proves manipulative. She lies without hesitation, twists situations to her advantage, and cleverly convinces John that Kate is simply paranoid. John, who tries to see the best in people, begins to grow frustrated with Kate's constant suspicion. Meanwhile, Esther grows more attached to him. She seeks his attention constantly, clinging to him while treating Kate as a rival. This dynamic fuels tension in the household. Daniel becomes more hostile, openly accusing Esther of being a freak. Esther retaliates by subtly threatening him, terrifying him into silence. A chilling moment occurs when the family comes across a wounded pigeon. John suggests putting it out of its misery, but Daniel refuses. Esther, without hesitation, crushes the bird's head with a rock. Daniel is horrified, while Esther shows no remorse, almost as if she enjoyed it. Kate grows increasingly unsettled. Sister Abigail, a nun from the orphanage, visits the family to check on Esther's adjustment. During her visit, she warns Kate and John that trouble seems to follow Esther. She recalls unusual incidents that happened in the orphanage whenever Esther was involved. Her tone is careful but firm. Something is not right with the girl. On her way home, however, Sister Abigail is ambushed by Esther on a deserted road. With cold precision, Esther bludgeons her to death with a hammer. She then forces Max, who witnessed the act, to help her hide the evidence. Max is terrified and traumatized, but Esther manipulates her into silence with threats, telling her that if she ever tells, bad things will happen to her and her family. As the days pass, Esther's sinister side emerges more clearly. She isolates Max, intimidates Daniel, and plays innocent whenever John is around. Daniel becomes determined to prove she is dangerous. He sneaks into the treehouse to search for clues and finds evidence that links Esther to Sister Abigail's disappearance. But Esther is one step ahead. She sets the treehouse on fire while Daniel is inside. Daniel jumps out, but he falls and is badly injured. While he lies unconscious in the hospital, Esther sneaks in, attempting to smother him with a pillow. Max sees this and manages to sound the alarm, saving Daniel's life. Kate is now convinced beyond any doubt that Esther is dangerous. She begins digging into Esther's background. Contacting the orphanage, she tracks down information that leads her to the Sarn Institute, a psychiatric facility in Estonia. Speaking with doctors there, she learns the horrifying truth. Esther is not a child at all. She is a 33-year-old woman named Lena Klammer. Lena suffers from a rare hormonal disorder that stunts her physical growth, making her look like a 9-year-old girl. But behind her childlike appearance, she is a deeply disturbed and violent adult with a long history of deception and murder. She has posed as a child multiple times, joining families, seducing the fathers, and killing anyone who stood in her way. While Kate is learning this terrifying truth, Esther's behavior at home grows even more disturbing. She dresses provocatively, wearing makeup to look older. She tries to seduce John, touching him inappropriately and even attempting to kiss him. John is horrified, finally realizing that Kate was right all along. But before he can act, Esther stabs him to death in a fit of rage. Kate, desperate, rushes home after receiving confirmation from the institute. When she arrives, she finds John's lifeless body. Esther, still posing as an innocent little girl, tries to manipulate Kate, but her mask has finally slipped. A violent confrontation erupts. Esther attempts to kill Max, forcing Kate into a desperate fight to protect her daughter. The struggle spills outside onto a frozen pond. The ice cracks beneath them as they grapple. Esther pleads desperately, trying to convince Kate to let her live, insisting she can still be her daughter. But Kate sees through the lies. With a final act of strength, she kicks Esther, sending her sinking beneath the icy water. In the aftermath, Kate pulls Max to safety, holding her tightly as police and ambulances arrive. She is devastated by John's death and shaken by the nightmare they have endured, but she has protected her children and put an end to Esther's terrifying charade. The story closes with Kate and Max walking away from the chaos, leaving behind the horror of what Esther truly was. A young woman named Anna starts her first day as the new art therapy director at the Sarn Institute, a facility for mentally disturbed patients. As she meets the head doctor, Dr. Novotny, the building suddenly goes into lockdown. Their most dangerous patient, Lena Klammer, has escaped. Anna searches through the dimly lit corridors until she comes across a young girl in a dark room. Thinking she's one of the child patients, Anna lets her guard down, but the girl is actually Lena, who suffers from a rare gland disorder that makes her look like a child despite being an adult woman. Before Lena can attack, guards arrive and take her back into custody. Dr. Novotny explains that Lena has used her condition to her advantage before, pretending to be a child to get adopted by families. In one of those homes, she tried seducing the father, and when things went wrong, she slaughtered the entire family, which led to her imprisonment here. Lena constantly struggles against her restraints, leaving deep wounds around her neck and wrists. Later, an orderly named Dmitri stops by her cell. Lena manipulates him into helping her tie her ribbons, hinting she seduce him. Once he's inside, she smashes his head against the wall repeatedly until he's dead. Wearing his coat and using his ID, Lena starts her escape. When a guard tries to stop her, she bribes another violent inmate named ID with candy, convincing him to attack and kill the guard. Anna sees Lena fleeing and immediately resigns, realizing the job isn't for her. But when she gets home, Lena ambushes her, smashing her head with a weapon. Lena then uses Anna's computer to browse missing child databases and discovers a girl named Esther Albright, who looks almost identical to her. When Anna stirs, still alive, Lena hits her a few more times to finish the job. She dresses in little girl clothes, pretends to be the missing Esther, and stages herself to be found by police in Darien, Connecticut. Meanwhile, Tricia and Alan Albright are watching their teenage son Gunnar in a fencing match. The family has never recovered from Esther's disappearance for years ago, especially Alan. Then, Detective Doonan, who worked on Esther's case, approaches them with huge news. Esther has been found in Russia. Lena, now pretending to be Esther, claims she was kidnapped and taken abroad, forced to live as another woman's daughter until she escaped. She's flown back to the US and reunited with the Albrights. Trisha takes Esther to Dr. Zager for evaluation, where Lena slips up by recognizing a bird in his office that only the real Esther would know. Trisha grows suspicious, and when Lena overhears her conversation through the PA system, she fakes an attack from the bird to distract them and get out of there. Outside, Lena spots Detective Doonan photographing her from a distance and starts to panic. At home, Alan shows her his old art studio that he abandoned after Esther's disappearance. When Lena mentions she can paint, he gives her charcoal supplies to make a portrait of him. From a distance, Trisha notices the way Lena gazes at Alan, far too admiringly. That night, Doonan visits the family to check in. Lena hides, listening to every word. Later, when Alan and Trisha are getting intimate, Lena spies on them, jealousy burning in her eyes. She rips Trisha's dress in anger. When the parents attend a gala, Gunnar throws a house party. Lena tries to join but he mocks her, and she snaps, telling him to go bleep himself. Soon after, Detective Doonan arrives, asking questions. He sneaks into Lena's room to collect a sample for testing, but Lena catches on. Later, Trisha checks Lena's room and finds her journal from the Sarin Institute, plus Doonan's home address. Lena heads there before Doonan can act. When she arrives, Doonan pieces it all together. She's not Esther. Lena stabs him repeatedly, demanding to know how he found out. With his dying breath, he reveals that Trisha knows too. Before Lena can finish him off, Trisha shows up and shoots Doonan dead. She coolly explains that she's known all along that Lena isn't Esther. The truth, Gunnar accidentally killed the real Esther years ago. To protect her son from prison, Trisha covered it up. Now she needs Lena to continue pretending to be Esther, to keep Alan from collapsing emotionally. Together, they dispose of Doonan's body and send a fake email saying he's on vacation. Trisha later tells Gunnar everything. He's furious that a stranger has such control over their family. Still, Trisha trains Lena to act like the real Esther, teaching her family memories and habits. But Gunnar continues to taunt her in private, until she slaps him across the face twice. At dinner, Trisha secretly spikes Lena's mac and cheese with a heavy dose of medication. Suspicious, Lena takes the food to her room and leaves it by a vent, where she's seen a rat lurking. When Alan visits later, he shows her the special black light effect he uses in his paintings. After he leaves, Lena finds the rat dead from the poison food. She realizes Trisha tried to kill her. Trisha, meanwhile, mocks Lena, saying Alan would never love her if he knew the truth. The next morning, Lena makes breakfast for everyone and prepares a smoothie for Trisha, hiding the dead rat inside. After drinking it, Trisha discovers the rat and angrily dumps it into the garbage disposal. Later, at a train station, Lena tries to push Trisha and Gunnar onto the tracks but fails. When they drag her away, she fights back, pepper spraying Gunnar and stealing Trisha's car to flee. Police eventually find Lena and bring her home. At that point, Trisha and Gunnar decide it's time to end the charade. They plan to kill Lena and make it look like suicide. But Lena fights back fiercely. She stabs Gunnar to death, then battles Trisha as the house catches fire. Both women end up struggling on the roof. When Alan arrives, he sees them hanging from the edge. He grabs Lena's hand to pull her up, but Trisha slips and falls to her death. As Alan helps Lena, her false teeth fall out, revealing her adult mouth. Horrified, he realizes everything. Before he can react, he loses his balance and falls to his death too. Lena calmly adjusts herself, continuing to act like innocent little Esther as the authorities arrive. She's later taken back to Dr. Zager, who arranges for her adoption, still believing she's just a sweet, traumatized child. The camera lingers on her face as Lena gives a chilling smile. Her eyes filled with malice. Thanks for watching. If you liked this recap, hit subscribe and let us know in the comments which movie you want us to cover next. We've got plenty more dark thrillers coming your way.